Hi guys, and thanks for stopping by. I'm Mino, and thanks for checking out my video today. So this is huge because this is my first video that I am making. Episode 1, the back shed. And I'm pretty sure you guys are probably wondering, okay, what the heck, what's going on? Like, what's up? Like, you have all these cute cat videos and just random videos, and now we're all of a sudden we're like talking about your shed house. Like, whoa, what's going on? So like, kind of like this whole thing I want to do with my channel. It's just random stuff and random stuff about my life. Like, I am definitely a type of person that's all over the place. So yeah, I like to highlight my cats, random things, but then also like this is a huge part of my life that is kind of going on right now. And it's the back shed. So as you can see here, I lightly touched that portion of the door and it just like boom came down. Like that kind of shows you this back shed of ours is literally being held by termites. So you see my mom here, she's so awesome. She's helping me kind of utilizing the Saturday to take down this back shed. So as you guys know, my name, Mino, and the whole point of my channel is I'm not a professional, but you can do things in life with some help from professionals. So I actually had the opportunity to work with professionals, which thanks to my mom, huge thanks to my mom. I mean, like she talked to some of her church members and they came out and they also own their own business. So they're professional by trade, they're contractors, and they also do demolition and stuff like that. So and they came out and they did this for free as a service project. So I was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. So here's one of the guys, he's using his chainsaw and he's like taking it down, and this is like one of my favorite parts of the demolition. Boom, it just comes down. But then I was freaking out. I'm like, oh my gosh, did it hit the neighbor's fence? So we didn't put in that white fence, that plastic nice white fence that was put up by our neighbors. So I rushed over there. You can see me, I'm like, did it hit the fence? And I'm like, okay, cool, it didn't hit the fence. So just because also that day they I think the dad and his son, they were working on like putting up a canopy. So I had to make sure, I'm like, oh my gosh, I really don't want to like cause contention. I don't want my shed to hit or damage their fence. So luckily it did not do that. So we're just like using the Saturday to take it down because I'm super stubborn. I was thinking to myself, yeah, I'm independent, you know, I can totally do this myself, you know, I can take this shit down myself. Yeah, right. What was I thinking? Like, who did I think I am? I'm not Superwoman by any means. That's my mom. My mom is definitely Superwoman. But yeah, so okay, getting back to the main story. Why does this shed need to be taken down? So we had to hire an architect. We actually went through a phase of trying to sell our home, and we purchased this house through my auntie because my auntie just wanted to get rid of this property. She, you know, has her house in Vegas. She has a couple properties, rental properties up in Vegas as well. And she's all like, you know what? This is my last one here. And I want to find someone that will make this a forever home. So we purchased it from her and thinking everything was good, you know, but needless to say, here we are. And now we have to sell the house. And the reason for that is because my husband has a job in New York. So the kids and I want to meet up with him. So that's why we had to sell this house. And you're like, well, what does that have to do with the back shed? And like, holy cow, this sounds like a pretty big like deal. This sounds like a pretty big story. Needless to say, yeah, it is. But we're getting to the shed, I promise. So we tried to sell it. And we found this amazing local family, you know, to make this their forever home. But cue in the appraiser was going through all his paperwork and all the permits that were at the city and county. And he's like, hey, wait a minute. These permits really aren't matching up. Like your current plan and what's being permitted, there's a portion of your home that's unpermitted. Where are these permits? So I was telling my cousin, like, I have no permits from auntie. Like whatever is there at the city and county, she said everything was there. So of course the buyers backed out. They freaked out because they're like, hey, if there's no permits here, our homeowner insurance is not going to cover unpermitted property. So of course the kids and I are here and we're like, well, shoot. Can't meet up with my husband, your folks' dad, so we're kind of here and I'm doing the single mom thing. And my cousin's like, well, you're gonna have to hire an architect now. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So of course I did my research and I found this awesome guy, Jimmy Woo, and he owns and works for an architect company, Prowork Pacific Incorporated. So he is definitely covered by the BBB, Triple B, as you folks know, is the Better Business Bureau. So I was super stoked to get a hold of him. And of course, I got a second quote. So he quoted me at a little close to 12,000. And there's this other guy that like quoted us at like 17 grand. I'm like, whoa, yeah, we're good. We're going to go with our first quote. And so Jimmy came out, he walked me through the process. He took a lot of pictures of the house, and then he wanted to know what section that was an issue. And then he had the permits and everything in front of him, and he's like, okay, I can see here. And as he took pictures and walked around the property as well, he's like, yeah, okay. So he told us, he's like, yep, I can see there's a back shed here. This back shed needs to come down. So when you go for round 2 of putting this house on the market, that cannot be there. So just make sure that, you and your contractor just make sure this gets knocked down. So I was like, okay. So that's why I chose a Saturday to knock down the back shed, is because, our architect had told us, hey, this needs to come down. So I was like, okay, fine, that's fair. So as we were going through the process though, permits here in Hawaii, it does take time. And for the life of me, I can now understand, why some people do work without permits. So it's kind of like that whole thing you folks hear, right? Ask for forgiveness, and like, hey, no need, ask for permission, just ask for forgiveness later, so get the project done now and then just go in and hire an architect. But just letting you guys know, if you hire an architect, that's gonna cost you a lot of money. I mean, like here I am. I didn't do these renovations. I didn't do any of these permitting or planning. It was all through my auntie and uncle. So when they sold us the house, this is something we inherited. So I'm just like, oh man, that sucks. Like, but at the same time, I'm really grateful because, I want to make sure that everything is legal and everything kind of passes through. So my husband and I are like, hey, this is all good. Huge shout out and thanks to my mom, because we dipped pretty heavy into our savings. So my mom has been helping us through this entire process, and definitely the church members as well. Like, you wouldn't be able to do any of this without my mom and the church members, and just family in general. Family has been helping us through a lot of this, and so super grateful for that. But just kind of giving you guys a heads up is like, when you guys purchase a home here in Hawaii, just be very careful. Make sure you do your research. Make sure that you go to get a lot of information from city and county, like, hey, does this property have a portion of it that's unpermitted? Because that's what we have faced. So just kind of going through it, sucks, but I just want to make sure that we're doing the right thing for the next family purchasing this home. So yeah, I just really wanted to share that with you guys. And don't forget, okay, just because you're not a professional, you can always do things in life with some help from professionals. So keep that in mind. And thanks for stopping by. So I hope this was super helpful. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.